Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning, and I hope that excites you. It excites me. I know some people are like, oh my, it's the first day of a 5-day word week. And I'm sorry about that, but hey, you know what? Just remember, when you go to work, they pay you. If you don't go to work, they don't pay you. Well, in some circumstances. Anyway, good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful morning to be alive. It's Monday morning. It's January 12th, 2026. I am your host, Tim Koger. This is a podcast called It's New Every Morning because it's designed to be about your blessings are new every morning because God's love is new every morning. So, good morning, Sue. Nice to have you along. Hope you're feeling better. I know you were a little bit under the weather over the weekend. I wonder how many morning warriors remembered that, it's Monday and it's 7:30 and Tim Koger is going to be live, So hopefully we have some other morning warriors out there. Now remember, starting, I probably should bring that music down so I don't have to shout at you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mary. Nice to have you just on top of the hill. I can almost see you from here, but of course, I did lose some pine trees, so it's a little bit easier to see up that way. Good morning, Deborah. Nice to have you along. Now to remember, starting this week, I'm doing this only twice a week, Monday and Friday, not Monday through Friday. Okay. So today I'm going to do it. I'll do it Friday again. I'll update. Good morning, Donna. Nice to have you along. I will update you on the week's events on Friday. So no Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. Now, everything's in flux. Everything can be changed. And I might change that back to every week. I might change it back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't know. But for this week, my schedule is just so tight that right now, good morning, Susan, and I'm guessing Tom, because the fours are from Virginia. Now in West Virginia, and I think maybe in Virginia too, because I talked to Tom yesterday, it's cold, pretty cold. Not frigidly cold, but pretty cold. There's snow on the ground, at least here in central West Virginia where I live. I live in a little farming community, and we got snow on the ground. We don't have a lot of snow on the ground, but there's snow on the ground, and it is cold. But I think it's supposed to warm up this week a little bit. Winter's kind of silly about that. It'll get cold, it'll get warmer, it'll get cold, it'll get warmer. It'll snow, it'll melt, it'll snow and melt. That's kind of what it does here in where I live. But anyway, I have some interesting stories for you today that I kind of picked up over the weekend. There's a lot of things out there, but I try to come up things that interest me that I hope will interest you. And so that's kind of what I do. And I got some different kinds, some cute stories, some serious stuff, some help maybe for you. So let's get into it. Remember, my next podcast is on Friday morning at 7:30. As we're winding up the week, I got all week to find great stories for you, and I'll work on that throughout the week. Anyway, this morning, the first thing I have is the flu. This is an interesting story, but at least 15 million flu cases this season so far. Now, we have flu every time, every season. Every winter season, fall, winter, spring. But according to the latest estimates, that comes from the that's what they think, 15 million. That's what they, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Well, this year, outpatient visits for flu-like symptoms have reached the highest record level since the agency began tracking it 30 years ago. Good morning, Janet. Nice to have you along. So in the last 30 years, outpatient visits for flu-like symptoms has hit a record high this year already. I know I say this year, I'm talking about this season, so 2025, 2026. So there are a lot of people going to outpatient visits for the flu this year. And I don't know if that means the flu is worse this year. In other words, there's more people getting it, or maybe the flu that's going around is just more severe than normal. I don't know. I'm just reporting the news. You guys got to figure it out. Because you guys, when I'm on here, you guys got to figure a lot of stuff out that I talk about. You know, I give you the tidbits, and if you want to know more about it, obviously, since you're on here, you are familiar with the internet, and so you can actually search some of this stuff if it interests you. And I got a couple other stories that might. So this time of year, as we know, at the beginning of the year, people are making New Year's resolutions. They're very popular. Some people like them, some people don't, but they are really popular. And so if your New Year's resolution is already wobbling a little bit, I mean, we're 12 days into the year, okay? Well, you're not alone, okay? A lot of people say it's a lack of discipline. I have a different take on that. I think it's a lack of joy. Yeah, joy. I think joy is what fuels and sustains you as you're building, habits, long-term habits. Resolve, accomplishment. It helps you build your daily rhythm and actually last. So like if you're on a day when for example, on a day when you're trying to eat a certain way and that's your goal and you do it, then it fuels that. You're happy about it. You're joyful. It fuels you to have more get up and go to do it the next day. Resolve might be a word. But anyway, if you kind of mess up, that kind of takes the joy out of it because you're not reaching your goal, and it makes it easier. And it's also easier if you mess up one day and you get down on yourself. It's easier to mess up the second day and the third day, and before you know it, you're gone. But you know what? It's okay if you fail at your New Year's resolution. Some experts argue failure doesn't really matter. Now, I'm saying some experts. You decide. Making the resolution itself helps define a person's focus in life. Just the fact that you know what you want to do, you know what you want to become, whatever the resolution is, and just setting it and working toward it will help you focus your life a little bit more. And maybe that's more important than actually completing the achievement. I know successful people. They say that a lot of them say that when they set a goal, like a New Year's resolution, they will fail at that goal multiple times, not just the first time, but sometimes second and third time before they actually reach it. Now, these are successful people, all right? So, the fact that you don't reach it the first time, it's okay. Just reset it until you do. What do you think? Do you think you're good at staying on goals, especially New Year's resolutions? I don't know. We'll see. New study says that 10 minutes of intensive workout can trigger a powerful anti-cancer effect to your body. There are a lot of people that believe that intense workouts, you've heard about people that don't do long-term 30-minute workout. I'm talking about a 10-minute workout, high intense. It sounds like those high-intensity workouts of 10 minutes may actually fight certain types of cells releasing molecules in your bloodstream, and can spur your DNA repair and inhibit cancer cell growth. Now, it can be doing simple things around the house. I mean, when I say intense, it doesn't have to be like, you're afraid to fall over. I mean, you can go to the gym, obviously, and do it intense. But you can play a sport, or you can do it, pretty quick walking or biking. It doesn't have to be something, or it can be working around the house or gardening or cleaning, clean up stuff around the house if you stay busy doing it, if you do intense doing it. So in the future, researchers plan to test all these theories. Now that they've figured out that they think this works, then they're going to test it by doing some tests on not only the 10 minutes for once a day or twice a day, but extended periods of time. And they want to know how it affects the treatment of chemotherapy and radiology and radiotherapy and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see what that does. Okay. Well, California is drought-free for the first time in 25 years. Yeah. If you're younger than 25, you've never lived through a time and live in California, you've never lived through a time where there wasn't some form of drought going in California somewhere until now. Now, the first time since 2000, 100% of California is classified as drought-free. 100%. That's according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, whatever that is. If you want to know what a U.S. Drought Monitor is, look it up. They had a really wet December that kind of pushed them over the top. So, I guess you can say California's all wet. Nothing new there. Anyway, next story. Oh, before I get in trouble. In 1971, tree-loving astronaut named Stu Smokey Rosa was asked to take something to the moon with him. All right? And of all things, he chose to take a canister of 500 tree seeds. I mean, he was really into trees. Now, he orbited the moon 34 times before he came back to Earth. And he came back to Earth, and so did the seeds. So NASA decided to, let's just plant these seeds all over the country. Great idea. The problem is, everybody forgot about them. I mean, they plant them and then, gone. Until one day, a third grader from Indiana stumbled on a tree with a strange plaque. It said, moon tree. Moon tree. So with a little research, figured out that all these trees are all over the United States. Well, not all over the United States. So if you want to learn more about the moon trees and where they are, and you want to go see if you can find one and take a picture of a plaque or whatever you enjoy, you can search moon tree. I know you're on Facebook. You've been able to find me on Facebook Live. I know you know how to search on the internet. Type in moon tree, probably give you all the information you need. Oh, by the way, I looked at a graph, a chart of where they are throughout the country, because it's out there. And I don't think there's any planted in West Virginia, just so you'll know. So if you're in West Virginia and you want to see one of these babies, you're probably going to have to go out of state. But do more research on that, because I didn't do a lot of research. I just kind of looked at a chart, and it could be wrong. I mean, it's a government chart after all. Could it be wrong? Could it be wrong? All right, let's move on before I get in more trouble. Is cursive writing making a comeback? Now, I know for all you older people out there, like me, you kind of find it strange that, because you grew up with cursive, you kind of find it strange that, people don't have to learn that anymore. I find it strange, although I don't use cursive much and haven't for many years. But you might be more surprised, even delighted to hear that, some people find it fun to write cursive. Now, in the early 2000s, as technology picked up, cursive was declared all but dead, earlier this century. But by 2006, only 15% of SAT essays were written in cursive. So they got completely away from that. Common Core Standards, released in 2010, didn't even include cursive as a required curriculum. Okay? So many states around the country just dropped the requirement. Man, you don't have to learn this stuff. You don't have to learn this stuff. But there's more to the story. Research, those people that do research, suggest that handwriting is a key tool for learning and memory, as they studied it. It activates the brain activity like a motor, sensory, cognitive processing, it better than typing or doing other things. Now, Sean Dackirk, a professor of special education at the University of Iowa, has written about the benefits of handwriting. He says, and I quote, "Even in the age of technology, I think that handwriting is here to stay." He also said, "Simply put, it is the most portable, cheapest way for students to engage in writing." Definitely portable. He suspects research about this cognitive benefits in handwriting paired with the affordability of teaching it, because it's easy to teach, are key drivers behind the resurgence. And there is a resurgence of ability. But there's another key factor that's kind of interesting and more personal. I'm sorry. Have to drink a little bit. And, there's some emotional reasons why cursive is coming back. But of course, older generations kind of more, it is emotional. But even with all the student benefits of cursive, students now seem to be eager to learn it. So not required to learn it, but eager to learn it. Well, no, why? Why would a, fifth or sixth grade student or whatever grade student be eager to learn cursive? Well, one theory is that it makes them feel grown up, more mature, because, cursive is an adult way of writing, right? What do you think? Maybe, or maybe it, they love the idea that everybody can't do it or even read it, So the idea that you're writing cursive and other people can't read it is kind of neat for them. You know who else can't read it? Some of their teachers. Not even their teachers can read cursive, because they've grown up at an age where they didn't have to. So I'm sure that turns kids on too. The fact that their kids can't. In fact, you could send a note across the room in cursive, and your teacher might not even be able to read it. That's pretty good stuff. Anyway, so cursive is a comeback. I'm for it. Once a year, this is a great story. I love this story. Once a year, stuffed toys fly around inside an arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Now, what I mean by flying around, there's an air of, they're all over the place, of colors, cuddly little mayhems on ice. For 25 years, the Hershey Bears, a minor league team of American Hockey League, has been hosting Teddy Bear Toss game for charity. All right? 25 years they've been doing this. I've never heard of it. Maybe you have. In their annual event, as soon as the home team scores its first goal, excited fans launch thousands of stuffed toys onto the ice. A chaos of colors and sizes, and just throw it on. And we're talking thousands. Okay? So play stops, no matter what, and there's different places do different things, but this is such a great, neat thing. So all the stuffed toys are picked up. Sometimes it might take an hour, but they're all donated to children in need throughout central Pennsylvania. So for nearly an hour, they're scattered all over the ice. It takes a while to pick them all up. Last year, the Hershey Bears set a world record by collecting 102,343 stuffed animals during the Teddy Bear. That's over 100,000 onto the ice. How crazy is that? I'd like to see some video of that, and I'm sure there's some out there. Now, on Sunday, the team had its latest ceremony. 3 minutes into the game, they scored a goal. So they only this year they only got 81,796. So, 81,000, and that's a bad year. That's just, it's just a really neat story, So, 3 minutes in, boom, they score, which is really pretty quick. And, stuffed animals are everywhere. Can you imagine 100,000 stuffed animals in a hockey rink? Unbelievable. Since it started in 2001, Teddy Bear Toss has provided almost 650,000 stuffed toys to less fortunate kids and families. How cool is that? Nice to see you too, Thomas. So I'm winding up, but I got one more story. It's the time of year when Christians get excited about studying the Bible. Like a lot of other New Year's resolutions, they decide they want to study the Bible more. But, turning that, like all other resolutions, turning that into a habit, can be tough. The Bible can be pretty overwhelming because it's pretty big. And often, people don't even know where to start. Now, the good news is there's lots of places online that have all kinds of help on how to read the Bible through. There's all kinds of read the Bible in a year stuff. And there's things about, how to start. Different programs. All of them. There's a lot of free stuff on there. So if that's your desire to read the Bible through this year, or start reading the Bible this year like you never have before, the most important thing is just pick it up and read it. Okay? My experience is you'll be glad you did. All right? So anyway, you guys have a great week. I will see you Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. and I'm going to have some awesome stories. I hope you have a blessed week, and I'll see you Friday. Bye-bye.